Well, hey, and welcome to the Becoming Better podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and I'm so glad you're here. Well, on today's episode, Ken, Jason, and I sit down and we discuss last Sunday's message. If you haven't listened to last Sunday's message, then I want to encourage you to stop here and give that a listen, as that will help make this conversation make more sense to you. Well, if you're still checking us out and want to learn more ways you can plug in or find out more about us, you can find all that at quadcity.church. And on that website, you can find ways to connect with us. If you're looking at some events that we're doing this next semester, you can check that out at quadcity.church/events. And you can see everything we're doing for student ministry throughout the week. Well, without further ado, we hope you enjoy this conversation. How's it going, guys?
Happy Monday, everybody.
That's what he said. It's going well.
Yep. Good. So,
Wait. We just going to blow past the fact that Josh has got a voice change.
He didn't let Nate get to it.
so Josh is out.
Josh is out.
He got booted off the island.
There's only 3 microphones in here, apparently. So that's it. Someone's got to go.
Well, it's just too much once you get a 4th in. So he said we could have this one.
Oh, that was nice of him.
He actually said Jason can have this one.
Right? He hasn't had to do this but once in the last 12 weeks.
Yep. So
we got Kenny back since he preached this weekend.
Yep. Stuck with me.
Welcome, Kenny.
So, all right. So got 2 different banter ideas for today. The first one, kind of going off of your message, Ken, on you knew everything about parenting before you were a parent. So, since you guys are parents, my question to you is, what is your go-to saying for your kids? Like if they were in this room, what would they say is your go-to saying, that you just always say?
Get off my lawn.
I've got several.
I'll bet you do. You are full of
I've got several.
choice nuggets.
Yep. So I know one of Jason's is play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
100%.
That's all the time.
Big time.
100%.
Yes.
So Ken, what would you say?
One I think they would say is there are there are things in life worth arguing about. This is not one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll stop hurting when it feels better.
That's another good one.
See, guys from the South have the best little colloquialisms.
Yep. Just coffee mug sayings. I just see a cupboard with all of these Jason coffee mugs. Maybe that's what we do instead of the Quad City.
Life is hard. It's even harder when you're stupid.
Oh yes, that's courtesy of Dr. Dunsing. I learned that one from him.
So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, my second one is, you guys actually brought this one up, and I kind of want to talk about it. Philly Karen.
Oh yes.
So if you guys haven't heard about Philly Karen, I just found out about her. I kind of saw a post about it, but over the weekend, Philly Karen. Actually, Jason, you tell the story.
Okay, so baseball. These people in these stands are out of pocket. All right, so if you've ever been to a baseball stadium, foul ball, home run, ball goes into the stands or bat goes into the stands, it's fair game. You go get it. When we were on our RV trip, I got to take my kids to the Cincinnati Reds. We got to go watch a Reds game. We were longing to get the foul ball. I wanted my kids to be able to do that. Well, guy hits a home run out into the outfield, and it's pretty sparsely. I mean, it was a
Marlins game. No one's going to them. It's Phillies Marlins in Florida.
So there was a lot of empty seats, and so the ball hits into the outfield, and a guy walks over about 6-7 seats that were all empty. The ball bounces around. He grabs it and he walks it back over and he hands it to his 10-year-old son. And they kind of are hugging, having a kind of a moment of celebration, when out of nowhere, Philly Karen comes. She's got her Phillies shirt on and she's got the Karen haircut. Legit, you can Google her up and you know. and she's got her Philly haircut, and she comes up and grabs the dad's arm and begins screaming in this poor man's face. And he caves. Like after about 20 seconds, he caves. And I was disappointed, to be honest with you. He caves and he pulls the ball out of the boy's glove and hands it to this woman because she apparently felt like she had rights. And because the ball landed near or to her, that it was hers.
She did yell that you took it from my hand, which maybe I looked at the video. I'm like, how'd she get?
No,
she
she
didn't
did-
get
that's
that.
no.
She was reaching, but I don't think.
But all that to say, so the dad takes the ball from the boy, gives it to the woman, and the teams made it up to this little boy. It was all caught on camera, as they all this stuff seems to be these days. And the Marlins gave him a packet, and the guy who hit the home run does a thing after the game, pulls the boy in. He gets to meet
Gets to go to the locker room.
and gets a signed bat. And so it all worked out well for the boy. It did not work out well for Philly Karen. So by Friday evening, like this is going viral on social media all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and the internet does its thing and finds out who this woman is, and she's just blasted all over the internet. She got booed in the stadium, and there's other videos of her, of people yelling at her, and she's flipping them off, and it's a whole thing. But
She's your straight Philly fan, like, for sure.
so it went sideways for her, and so there's all kinds of rumors out there whether or not she got fired or not, and she can't go out of her house because people everywhere she goes, people are yelling at her. But it went bad.
Yeah.
It went bad.
Yeah.
It was funny is someone, they thought that she was an employee of what's the Hamilton Public School District. Well, Hamilton is 2 towns over from where I grew up. And the school district put out a statement. Like, she has not worked for us. She has never worked for us. And if she had worked for us, she'd have caught that ball barehanded.
That's awesome. And even the Savannah Bananas apparently
They're
did a
great.
whole skit on this Philly's Karen already. So
there's all sorts of memes that have popped up with this poor woman, and I think I shared my favorite is like somebody created like a spirit Halloween for this costume for Philly Karen, and
That will be the biggest selling costume in that tri-state area.
Yeah.
New Jersey, Delaware, Southeast Pennsylvania. Absolutely.
it just goes sideways. I'm like, these people are unhinged. And there was another one last week during the U.S. Open where a tennis player gives a hat, or is trying to give a hat to a kid. And he's, as it is, if you've been watching any of these tennis players, all these people are hanging over the edge, and he hands his hat to his kid as he's trying to sign another one. And while he's handing it to this kid, a grown man comes and snatches it right out of the kid's hand and stuffs it in the bag. Turns out he's a CEO of some excavating company in Poland. And it's like, and again, he gets put on blast. It's like, these people are,
Yep.
That
it's
dude,
unbelievable.
that dude needed to hear the sermon about getting all, up in arms at sporting events.
Yep. So
Nate, could you turn this down a little? Jason's yelling in my ears.
yeah,
It's-
it
I'm
happens.
getting a little excited over here.
Yes, that's what you do.
These people are out of pocket. So I don't know. These are your people, Kenny. These Philly fans
And
are your people.
yes, and what was so disappointing about Philly Karen is that the father and the son, they weren't Marlins fans. They're in their Phillies gear too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't do that to your fellow fanatic.
Yep.
You just don't. She's not going to set foot in Citizens Bank Park. Man, no way. She better be in disguise.
Yeah.
She could go on, it'll be playoffs. She could go on Halloween because everyone will be dressed up as her.
As Philly Karen.
Yes, as
Yeah,
Philly
she could
Karen.
get
She
the
could get
mean-
away then.
by the wig of her own hair.
Yep. So awesome. Well, let's jump in. This last Sunday, Ken, you're in Prescott, and it was funny standing outside with you before the 8 and just seeing everybody's reaction. Like, what are you doing here? Are you hosting? And you're like, no, I'm preaching. So
That's the reaction I have when I see people from the Prescott Valley campus come to the Prescott.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? here?
Yep.
I have to be here. You're out of your neighborhood.
Yep. So, but I think overall, good Sunday morning. Having Jason hosting was awesome, and just getting to see him back on stage. And yeah, so Jason, from your point of view, what stood out to you on Sunday?
It was just fun to be back. It was fun to get to see everybody again. You know, like I said, we've been in town for the last month, but we just come to the 11. And
Yeah.
so we've been able to come and just to worship. And again, this is just one of those areas where I just so grateful for our church that like I was just an attender. Nobody had any expectation. I just got to come and worship and people would say hi just like they would anybody else, but didn't ask me to do anything or ask me. It was just great just to come and just get to be a part of the church family. So, so I had seen several of the people who are at the 11, but being able to reconnect and bump into people at the 8 and the 9:30 was really, really fun.
Yeah.
You know, you told the story about getting pulled over there in Peoples Valley.
Yeah.
Did he give you a ticket?
Okay. So this is a funny story. Didn't have time for. So I had turned off of 89 and I'm coming up, you know, I think what is that? When you're coming up the back way.
I have no idea. Iron Springs Road?
Yeah. Is it Iron Springs?
Yeah.
So I'm heading up towards Iron Springs and that's where I was going too fast and I'm flying up that road and he pulls me over and we have this interaction about the, you know, about the sticker on my window. And he says, you know, how do you like Quad City? And, you know, I said, I really love it. And so he takes my license, take my registration and, you know, asked me about how fast I was going. I said, I don't know that I want to say that. My lawyer would tell me that I should
Answer
not know.
no questions.
So he goes back to his truck or his car. And about 2 minutes later, he walks up and he says, did you pray not to get a ticket today? And I said, no, sir, I didn't pray for that. He goes, well, all of the county system just went down county wide. So I can't get in to give you the
Oh, my
ticket.
goodness.
So today's your lucky day.
Oh, lucky you.
I need you to slow down. Sir, yes, sir.
I got to tell you this. I got pulled over. I haven't gotten a ticket in like 22 years. I get pulled over in front of Frontier Village the other day. It was a registration. My truck had expired. I didn't even know. Pay attention to that. I get pulled over. I got no registration. I did not have my driver's license with me because I
Oh,
went
man.
running that morning and I always have my driver's license in my shorts. And I didn't have a current insurance card with me. Although I have a license, it's insured. He did not give me a ticket.
Nice.
I was like, for sure, I'm getting a ticket. I told him, thank you for the grace. That was appreciated.
Yeah.
You just flashed that pearly smile.
Yeah.
You know, I thought for sure when you told us that he asked, what do you think of Quad City, that you were going to tell us, you made some snarky comment about the lead pastor or something. I was fully expecting that from you.
No, I didn't.
Did he
But-
see your side mirrors? Your driver's side mirror?
What's on my driver's side mirror?
Do you still have the squiggly eyes on there?
Oh, I don't know if I do or not. I might.
I wonder if he thought you were just crazy.
Hey,
No.
that's true. Too. I actually even had I had my Quad City shirt on
Okay.
too. But yeah, no, he let me off. So I'm
Nice.
grateful for the great gentlemen and women of the Yavapai County Sheriff's Department.
And you ought to thank the IT guy.
Yeah.
All right. You had a great moment there.
So, but yeah. So, Jason, what else did you think about the sermon?
So, you know, as we went through the run through and as we always do each and every week, you know, I told Kenny I did an amazing job. The part that resonated that I thought was so helpful. My wife even mentioned it too, was when you were able to break down some of the things that Paul was saying to Timothy, like the thing behind the thing. So we've got
yeah.
these verses, but you took the liberty to put some flesh on them to kind of make them, oh, this is what this sounds like. When you did this and you said to these women, you got to dress modestly. I know what people think, and here's what and you fleshing that out with 3 or 4 examples and putting the text up there, I just thought was really, really helpful.
Very good.
especially as someone who's had those conversations with people, and I've
Right.
actually had some of those same things said to me. I was like, I feel seen today. But it did humanize. Again, it's so easy to take to just read these verses and forget these are real people in real places with real issues and real emotions. Timothy, this was a real church, and it had
Sure.
all of the same stuff that we deal with in church world today, and people and confusion and bad motives and miscommunication, like all of that stuff that happens in any relationship was happening in these relationships too. And so I found that to be really, really helpful.
Good. Yeah, and I think we need to remember that about Scripture throughout. Instructions, commands, they're all given for a reason.
Yeah.
And you always have to, okay, why would this be given? And so it dawned on me, that was the Lord, man. That's the Holy Spirit working in the process.
Yeah.
I really, that's what I think.
Yeah, and just the fact that it's just, some people feel like the Bible isn't relevant today. They like the history, the culture, even the placement of where we're living, and it's just a great reminder of no, it's still as relevant today as it was when they wrote it. So
For sure. I think the only thing that's different is technology.
yeah.
We're people. People are people.
Yep. Exactly. So, Ken, if I could have given you 5 to 10 more minutes, is there anything else you would have added?
So this is going to be Jason's favorite part. Jason was
Go
right.
on.
Yeah, I'm listening.
in the run through, walking through it.
Can pause for another. Here, this is all right. You were asking about favorite phrases or phrases that your kids.
Here, should I say it? Because I know what it's going to be.
Go ahead.
The Price is Right.
No. Close.
Okay.
Close. I will say to my wife or to my kids every once in a while. What's my 3 favorite words?
You were right.
That's it. Not I love you. No. You were right.
So in our sermon planning meeting, right, the few days leading up to the sermon, and I make the comment about the 4 views of the large house analogy, and Jay's like, I don't even think you need to bring that up. And I was like, well, I want to give people a reason to connect to the podcast. Well, there really is not a whole lot of differentiation between the 4 views anyway, that it's, I could have fleshed it out and maybe I would have, but even in here, it's like, well, I mean, we could flesh it out because I said we would, but so you were right, Jason, that there wasn't a ton of value in that, but just something you learn as in preparing sermons. Would I have done more? I don't think so. I think out of that text, I think we got what needed to come out of it.
Yeah.
I know there are always things that hit the cutting room floor, but I don't feel like there was much in this one.
So with this though, as we look at this text one more time, there's a verse. We're in 2 Timothy chapter 2, specifically in verse 23. It says, "Don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments because they produce quarrels." How many times have he said that in these 2 letters?
Oh my gosh.
Like, how many times do we keep coming back to this, where it's quarrels and fighting and words and useless words and godless chatter? Like, there must be something going on in this church. He just keeps hammering this through 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy, like just over and over and over again. And it just makes me wonder, like, what is Philly Karen in this church? Like, is this what we're doing?
Well, there you go. That's the whole people are people, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have a disagreement or a misunderstanding, and our tendency is, our sinful nature is, I will talk about the person or about the issue rather than talk to the person about the issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's one of the things going on here. I mean, again and again and again, just good grief. Warn them before God against quarreling about words. It is of no value. Verse, that was the week prior, but
Right.
it's, man.
He just keeps coming back to this again and again.
And it devoured the church.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but if I'm not mistaken, isn't it the church of Ephesus where in Revelation, you have forgotten your first love?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's this backbiting, this talking about each other, this arguing with one another, it devoured the church. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's in a few weeks.
Sweet. Then we have a few questions and just want to say thank you for submitting these. So Ken, the first question is from Brady Little. He said 2 Timothy 2:24 in the NIV uses the phrase not resentful, while the ESV version uses the phrasing patiently enduring evil. These versions are typically quite similar, but it seems like this difference really changes the message of what Paul is saying to Timothy. Can you clarify why these versions might differ the way they do?
Okay, so this goes into, what was that verse? 24.
24, yep.
Yeah, 24, about the Lord's servant. So that, now we're all the Lord's servant, but I think Paul's addressing Timothy here. He's obviously addressing Timothy specifically. Now, I'm not a Greek scholar, but I'm going to trust that there is enough similarity between not be resentful and patiently enduring evil that the translators chose to translate it differently. I would think that this phrase, patiently enduring evil, really is enduring the shots that you're taking, enduring the mistreatment, enduring the criticisms and the doubt. I think that would be, without studying it and seeing what's the blue letters in Greek, right? What would I, that's how it seems to be. It's the same thing, just worded differently.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it is. I agree with Brady on this one. I'm, after I saw his question, I didn't study the ESV for this because I wasn't preaching it. And so I did. I looked it up. So I have a program. It's called Logos.
Oh, there you go. Now we got someone with the
The
Greek word.
I've got the Greek all in front of me, and so I can look at it. And I'm not a Greek scholar either, and so, but I do have the ability to pull up any word and kind of see where it comes from and kind of get a little bit of the history of it. But it's interesting that in the definition for this word, it says here are the definitions: tolerant, patient, not resentful. And then kind of as an example, it says tolerating difficulties without becoming out of control. So that's kind of the phrase. And I would say with Brady, they do seem like they're to be tolerant of something for us has a different connotation than being not resentful. And so they do seem a little bit different. They are both used as a part of the definition of this Greek word. And so apparently the NIV chose kind of one lane and the ESV chose the other. And I don't know why. I don't know how those two are connected. So very astute point by Brady. Yeah, it's really interesting. So both tolerant and not resentful are both definitions that are given in the Greek lexicon here. And again, specifically, it's pointing to tolerating difficulties without becoming out of control. That's what this is supposed to mean in this text specifically.
Which, I don't know, to me that they seem similar enough. Like if you're enduring it and dealing it from the people in the church, but isn't Brady a little old to be reading ESV? That's a young man's game.
Maybe he's just smarter than you. No,
well, preach that. I do not
ESV
doubt that.
is more reformed in its, and so, but I guess John Piper,
That's fair. Very fair.
Yeah, all of your good reformed theologians all love the ESV. So.
That's true.
All right. Our next question comes from John, and his question is, Pastor Ken, awesome how you vividly explained these scripture verses. It was great how you set the scene for us by going back about 3 years in Acts. Paul begins and ends these verses by saying to keep watch and be on your guard. So now the time has come, as we studied last week in 2 Timothy 2:16-18, Paul gives names who have indulged in godless chatter and who will become more and more ungodly as they destroy the faith of some. I appreciate taking time to explain arguments and quarrels in 2 Timothy 2:23.
That's a really nice intro to this question.
Yeah.
Right?
He said, I would like to discuss more about verse 22, flee evil desires and pursue Jesus. I also have a moment of lust and pride. Thanks for your transparency. Ken, Ken, at my baptism, the old John was washed away, and the new me was now raised to new life in Christ. While the new life of mine is drastic turn from the old self, sometimes it can be disappointing when failing. Ken, would you say fleeing or running away is sometimes considered cowardly but wise? People realize that removing themselves physically from temptation also can be the most courageous action to take. Timothy was a young man and was warned to run from anything that produced evil thoughts. Would you agree by removing ourselves physically from any situation that stimulates our desire to sin in biblical correct? And then he said, would you agree that knowing when to run is as important in spiritual battles as knowing when and how to fight?
Okay. Let's take that last one first.
Yeah.
Would you agree that knowing when to run is as important in spiritual battles as knowing when and how to fight? Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. You got to know both. Okay. Would you say fleeing?
Let's expound on that just a little bit. When do you run then? When do you run? When do you flee sin? And when do you fight sin?
So I think when you run is when I'm tempted. I want to do this and I know it's wrong. And I'm going to be drawn in. So I got to go. I've got to remove myself from the situation. I'm in the wrong place with the wrong people at the wrong time, and it's never going to be right. Shouldn't go to that place. That's when you run.
And even Paul says it in 1 Corinthians 6.
Yeah.
He
And
says,
I was going to point out that there is one sin in Scripture that you're never told to fight.
Sexual temptation.
That's right.
Yep.
1 Corinthians chapter 6,
verse 18.
Verse 18 says, flee from sexual immorality. Flee from it. We are not, and again, we're a bunch of dudes, so let's just talk as dudes.
Yeah.
When you set yourself up in a situation where lust and sexual sin is right there in your face, you have to just get out of that situation. You got to run like that. You can't continually put yourself in that where that temptation is available to you and think you're going to win on a consistent basis.
Oh yeah. And it can be so, here's a little story. I was at ASU on my long hair, walking around town. I'm praying in my neighborhood and I hear this cat meowing. It's in the engine compartment of a car and it must've been little. So I knock on the door, say, hey, you gotta. Anyway, this girl comes out, and we're talking. We get the cat. I go in and I'm chatting with the roommates, and it's these three. I'm the 21-year-old college student. They're all these pretty hippie chicks. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I do not need to be in this house. Turns out the one girl that came out and I talked, she came to church. She became a Christian and has been a faithful follower of Jesus for 30 years. But I was like, I need to be nowhere in this environment. And it wasn't even an immoral kind of environment or anything like that, but it was an environment this could be really tempting if I wanted to sin. So I'm out.
Yeah. And so fleeing sexual immorality. And it's interesting that what does he say here? Flee the evil desires of youth. And you gave them to us, 3 of them at least that are kind of primary. You want to remind us?
So lust, anger, violence.
The first thing you mentioned was lust.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that Paul mentioned in 1 Corinthians 6. That, the pull for young people, especially as Timothy, young men, that lustful desire, man, it is you can't keep that thing around and imagine that that you're gonna win, that you're gonna be victorious over it all the time.
That's right. And then there's no way to do it in the sermon. This might answer your question about when you're a young man, call it 20, who you find attractive is limited to someone from 20 to 28 or 30. Well, when you're 40, those women that are 20 to 28, they're still attractive. And so is the 40-year-old. But when you're 20, the 40, so your pool of people you could it grows, and you've just got to flee and you've got to discipline. You've got to pursue Jesus. Because the opportunities to sin just become more, I think they grow.
Yeah. And I think the other big thing is media and just what we're consuming. I feel like just as I've grown up, I feel like that line of what is shown on TV and just shows has just blurred so much to the point to where a lot of stuff that I remember as a 10-year-old, like that would be like pushing the edge of like, oh, that's risky TV, is now like rated G now, I feel like. And I feel like it's just all so numbing as we just kind of allow this stuff to enter our brains that it becomes this just blurriness of, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah, the scale has totally shifted. I actually was thinking about putting something in sermon that I'm writing for this week about that very thing. I don't know if I'm going to end up with the time to do it, but I'm having the same conversation about Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
there is
It's junk.
plenty of nudity on Netflix, like things that, I mean, as a little teenage boy, like
Yeah.
it was, if you had a buddy who had Skinamax, like you go and you watch the
late
topless whatever thing, but now that's you don't have to. It's not even difficult. It's
No.
on Netflix. Like, there are whole series that are available to people that's just a part of it, like that. And I will be you flip on Netflix and all of a sudden the top 10 shows that pop up, and 2 or 3 of them, just by looking at the description or having heard reviews about it, that it's a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, it's just part of the culture. To your point, it becomes so familiar. We just become so comfortable with
Yeah.
it. And so how many of your kids, talking to all of our audience, just have access to Netflix?
Yeah.
That they have your Netflix password. They got a Netflix on their phone or on their tablet or on their, and it's right there. You don't have to get the Playboy channel anymore. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, they can hunt down on YouTube, Netflix. Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah. So it was one of the kind of the first conversations I know Sarah and I had of me being truthful of, hey, I can't watch these drama series. Like, if you want to watch that, I'm good with it, but I just can't, because it starts blurring and starts pulling me back. And I think that was one of the better conversations, and just one of the conversations I have regularly with her, and just even my discipleship group, of just like, you have to get rid of this. And I love Paul's Paul in 1 Corinthians, because it's a good reminder to me that I can't fight this.
Right.
If
That's
he
right.
said it, so it's not even like I'm gonna fight this.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to run.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, especially lust. Like, that's just go. Yeah. And so, looking at his question, okay, would you agree that knowing when to run is important as knowing when and how to fight? So we'll get to the when and how, because it's kind of asked twice. Here we go. Would you say fleeing or running away is sometimes considered cowardly, but wise people realize that removing themselves physically from temptation can often be the most courageous action to take? 100%. Yes, running is often seen as cowardly, but it's, so what? Who cares what other people think? Sometimes, fleeing is the most courageous act. And then that other question, the middle question, I think hits both of them. Would you agree by removing ourselves physically from any situation that stimulates our desires to sin is biblically correct? Any, I would say, so because you ask any situation, I'd say no. Because sometimes what you need to do is fight. Let's say it's fear. I want to run because I'm afraid of this situation, where you see that someone is at risk, someone is in a situation, and you can intervene and help, but you're putting your safety or your comfort before protecting someone else. To me, that's like, okay, no, this is a stand and fight thing. I'm going to intervene on someone else's behalf.
yeah.
But as it relates to lust and what have you, like, yeah, man, just go. Like,
Yeah.
don't stick around for that. I see Jason's flipping his book here. So
I was just trying to think of, there's a verse about those of you who are strong should restore him.
is that Thessalonians? I think that is
I'm
Thessalonians.
blanking on where it is, but
Encourage the weak, warn the timid. That whole, or
well, it goes beyond that. It was those who are strong should restore, but be careful
Oh,
that
yes.
you do not fall.
Yes.
That verse. So I'm blanking on where it is, but the idea is, look, there are some sins that I can and should come alongside someone and help them and give them the power to fight, but there are others where I should not.
Here you go. Book Galatians 6.
Okay.
Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently, but watch yourselves, or you
Yes.
also may be tempted.
Yeah. So that's the warning, right? Again, there are some who can walk into a situation. For me, it would be, I don't know, if somebody's an alcoholic and they,
Sure.
I can walk. Yeah, I can go to the bar and I could sit there with somebody and not give in to the temptation, and it would not be an issue. If somebody is an alcoholic, their accountability partner shouldn't be
That's right.
a fellow alcoholic who puts himself in the bar, and right there has to be a level of which that tug for you isn't going to drag you down if you're trying to help them out.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
And yeah, just like what we're talking about lust, there was a ministry in that a church in Kentucky did. I think may have been the church Josh served at for a little while, Southland in Lexington, or may have been Southeast in Louisville. Anyway, there was a big church in Kentucky, and one of their significant ministries was serving women who were in strip clubs. So all of these young women who are
Like work there, the
worked
dancers.
there. Yeah, the dancers in the strip club, and they would go in and they would serve these women, and they would go in the dressing room and they would talk and pray and try to help these women. Like,
Yeah, I should never do that.
that's right.
Right,
That's
like,
not. That
that's
is
right.
when they do the ministry fair at the church and they're looking for volunteers. That's probably not the one I should sign up for. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
Look, that would be a temptation that I don't need to be a part of. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of situation. So, all of that to say, we do have to determine, hey, how am I the person? Yes, somebody needs to step in and restore. Somebody needs to step in and help. Somebody needs to step in and have a conversation to help this person walk away from this. But I have to be honest enough with my own weaknesses to understand that may not be me. And so John, I don't know what that looks like for you, but where you find yourself being drawn into the sin, that's probably a place where you have to step back and say, yeah, that's not a place I need to be putting myself, and somebody else needs to step in and help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you run from the temptation to sin, but then conversely, if running is cowardice, like because I'm afraid of the situation or the confrontation, then it's I got to fight the coward in me. That's a different. Yeah, you're never going to be called to stand and fight lust. You run from it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, is there anything else you guys want to cover?
I didn't come with anything, and it was fun talking about Karen.
Checked all the boxes.
She's showing up at your Jersey family reunion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just glorious.
Is there anything else? I think there is. I don't think we could ever reiterate enough. And Ken, you did a good job, Ken, just reminding us once again, people are never our enemies. And again, I think it's just so easy for us to fall into that trap over and over and over again. And we have to continue to remind ourselves that these people who are opposing us and opposing God have been taken captive by our enemy. You use the word POW, like they have been taken captive. They are not the enemy. They need to be freed from our enemy. And we have a part to play in that. In the same way that Christ came to free us, he then sends the freed people to go out and help free others. Like that's what we do. And so we have a role to play in that. And so the most difficult person in your life who seems most far from God are captives of our enemy, and we want to pray and plead and have conversations around their heart being transformed, being brought to a place of repentance and coming to a knowledge of the truth. They need that in the same way that 19-year-old Kenny needed that.
Yep.
And so we have to just keep reminding people of that, reminding ourselves of that. People are not our enemy, no matter how much they seem to set themselves against us. Our enemy is the principalities of the dark world that have set themselves up against Christ and against his followers. So we want to rescue people out of that because Christ rescued us out of it.
You were born to be a preacher, brother.
Awesome. Well, have a good week, guys, and we'll see you Sunday.